Hey, how's it going, everybody? Welcome to Shazdish Plays. Today, we are going to be wrapping up the season with a final tier list. So, we are going to be ending off the season here in about 2 days, 3 days, something like that. Yeah, when I'm recording this, probably going to be 2 days whenever this video goes out. So, make sure you get in there, you get those last games, and, play and get up to master wherever your goal is for the end of the season. So, anyway, though, we're going to be doing a solo queue tier list, so we got to keep that in mind. This is going to be how strong I think these characters perform in a solo queue environment. So we have been doing the Versus series. If you haven't, check that out, where we take a character onto the solo queue ladder and we pit two of their builds against each other, and then I just decide at the end which one I like the most. It's very fun. I'm going to eventually be playing every character in the game. I think we're up to like 12 characters right now, which is pretty awesome. Varying archetypes and stuff like that. So be sure to go check that out. It should be like an iCard, something at the end of the video, whatever. But anyway, we got a tier list to be making today in the talking about some solo queues. So we're gonna have 6 tiers here. We have the one above all. This is going to be, in my opinion, the best character to play in solo queue. Kings and Queens, you're awesome, pretty decent, I suppose, and just don't. So yeah, we pretty straightforward. We got these characters are going to basically, these characters in these upper tiers, these are ones that you definitely want to see on pretty much any team, and ones that are going to carry you very well. And then these are going to be kind of like the middle of the road characters that's pretty decent, I suppose, is a little bit weaker, and then just don't. So yeah, but yeah, so just don't play these characters. Alright, so let's just get right into it, right off the bat with some Alolan Knighttails, and we're going to be starting off with that pretty decent category. This is going to give us a very good baseline as a very middle-of-the-road Pokemon. She doesn't do anything spectacular. She's not really that impactful in that last Zapdos fight. Her early laning phase is very strong. I will give her that. She is a very strong early character, but when the game is about making sure that you secure objectives, she has no real objective secure outside of her Unite move, I suppose. But she's very squishy. If she gets jumped, she's probably dead. She has no mobility, so there's really not a whole lot that she brings to a team outside of like a good, strong first gank, basically, and that's about it. But yeah, that's pretty good. Next up, though, we have Pikachu. We're kind of going in with this archetype here, where I'm splitting them up, and we got another lane attacker here. So where we're going to end up with Pikachu, on the opposite end of the spectrum, I think Pikachu is fantastic. Not only does he have an incredibly strong early laning phase, he brings a lot to the table still in that last fight. I do think that Pikachu, while he doesn't have objective secure, he's still very self-sustaining, and he can definitely help out the team. Now, the thing that's so great about Pikachu is this huge change that he got to his Unite move. Sure, he doesn't do a ton of damage in when he's like level 13 or 12 or something like that, like you're going to be around the Zapdos fight, but it's balanced out by the fact that he is getting his Unite move every single fight in the late game, and that is just really, really powerful. And what is so good about Pikachu, he's probably going to still end up at the bottom of this kind of tier area, but I think that he is a fantastic pick if you're looking for a lane attacker in a solo queue environment, just because you're constantly getting buddy barriers out and just helping out the team in that fight. So next up, we have Sylveon, and while I do think Sylveon is better than Ninetales, I don't think she's that much better than Ninetales, so very middle of the road. Sylveon does have one thing that none of these other lane attackers that we've talked about so far, is she does have a decent objective secure. Hyper Voice, it's not the best, it's not a big burst of damage, but you can put out your Hyper Voice. It's just continuous damage, and unless you get like pushed back or something like that, you're going to have like a decent little objective secure right there. While Mystical Fire is okay, it gives you a little bit of mobility, which is, something these characters don't have. I just don't think that it's as good as Hyper Voice still. The damage is just speaks for itself. But yeah, your night move is not very high impact, so you're not really that useful, but you can stick around in a fight a long time. So while I think she's probably better than Ninetales, doesn't even touch the power level Pikachu in my opinion. Alright, next up though, it really hurts me to do this, but I kind of have to put Cram here into this, I suppose. Like, he just doesn't really do a whole lot. Like, the weirdest nerf, he gets the weirdest nerfs because, like, his animations have been changed, so now his like DPS is actually a lot lower now because, you know, he has to like pick up the fish out of the surf or the whirlpool or anything, and like it's just like the weirdest nerf that Cramorant's gotten. His Unite move is still pretty good, but it's rooting him into one spot, and it just doesn't do the damage that it used to. So I'm sorry, Cramorant. I love this character, but unfortunately, I kind of have to put him down here at the bottom. He's just, he's barely worse than Ninetales, but I think Ninetales, like, at least brings a little bit more to the team, in my opinion, than Cram. Not much, but trust me, this one hurts. It hurts me to do, guys. Something that doesn't hurt me, though, is putting my boy Venusaur at the very top here. I love this character in solo queue. He's incredibly self-sustaining. He doesn't have, you know, good objective secure unless obviously you're going Solar Beam, but I think the definitive solo queue experience is that Petal Dance Giga Drain. The thing that I like about Petal Dance Giga Drain, though, is it's very, very easy to follow up on. It's very easy to see, hey, freaking my Venusaur is running in. I'm gonna go back him up because, you know, the whole enemy team is gonna run away from my Venusaur. So I like that a lot. It's a very, very powerful Pokemon in a team fight, and you can't like 1v5 anymore, but you can definitely kind of run into like a 1v2, maybe even a like 1v3 if you got a good level advantage, and you can win that fight. And like I said, it's very easy to follow up on a Venusaur. Alright, next up, we got my girl Gardevoir. And yes, my Gardevoir simp bitch is gonna come out here a little bit because I'm gonna be putting her into that "you're awesome" category. I loved this character. Even when she wasn't the strongest, I still loved playing this character. I do think that she's not the best solo queue, but she is definitely better than some of these characters that we've talked about so far. If you put her in the jungle, she has a very high impact first gank, which is very, very awesome. After that, like, unless you can get level 9, her first Dreadnought fight isn't as impactful, but she's still very good. But then at the end of the game, once you get your Future Sight Plus, you can win these team fights as long as you can stand behind people, because you're just putting out massive amounts of burst damage on the enemy team. And yes, I know in my Gardevoir video, I constantly talk about you really need to be you'll have a team that knows what they're doing and how to follow up and help, how to pressure with you. But you can win team fights with this character, just your ult alone usually, which is awesome. So I think that she's still a very good character, and yeah, maybe a little bit my simpage is popping out here, but it's okay. So I think that this is a very solid pick for you. Put her in the jungle though, don't wait. Alright, next up we got Cinderace, and Cinderace is gonna take his rightful place here at the very top so far. I think that he's an incredibly powerful solo queue Pokemon. He has incredible mobility. He can get in and out of a fight really easily. The Blaze Kick buff is kind of insane, the amount of damage that you can do. He has a good objective secure or steal with his Unite move. Throw him in the jungle and just watch him go burr, basically. So yeah, I really like Cinderace in a solo queue environment. I think he's definitely in contention for possibly getting that one above all spot potentially. I don't know. We'll have that discussion later on in the video, but yeah, I think Cinderace is absolutely incredible. So is my boy Greninja. I do think that Greninja probably actually. Do I think he's better than Venusaur? I think he's ever so slightly under Venusaur. I think that Greninja, yes, I want to be putting Greninja in here because I love my boy Greninja. He's my freaking favorite character in the game. Over 600 games played with this character. Yeah, I think that he is incredibly fun and is a very, very good character for a solo queue environment because he does a ton of damage. With Water Shuriken build, you have Surf if you want to go for that objective secure strategy. You have a great Unite move for team fights. You just drop it on like an enemy team and dive the back line and just shred people. Yeah, Greninja is an incredible Pokemon. I do think that probably Venusaur is a little bit better, and Cinderace is probably a more efficient jungler than Greninja, but you can outplay a lot of people with Greninja. And yeah, he's my boy. So in my heart, he's the best, but we're talking about the game as a whole. And as we're talking the game as a whole, you know what it is, what time it is. Our first just don't. Just don't play Decidueye in solo queue. This character requires so much team support to be any kind of anything close to good. Like, he has no mobility. It's very hard to get away from people. If they jump you, you're basically dead. His Unite move is absolute dog water. I'll be straight up with you. His Unite move is terrible. I don't know what they were thinking. Just rooting him in place. Like, I don't know, man. But yeah, like, it's very, very hard to play Decidueye in a solo queue environment because you have to have somebody that knows how to peel for you and has to know your strengths and weaknesses, has to know when to go in when you're shredding people. Yeah, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just don't play Decidueye. He's very stressful. So, all right. Next up, that's all of our attackers, though. I think this is a pretty solid list for the attackers. Next up, we have the Speedsters, and we get Absol. Where am I gonna end up putting Absol? Yeah, I've always been famously an Absol hater. So why you may be expecting this right here? I don't think so. I think Absol probably is gonna land here. He's actually not that bad in lane. I think that he's a very strong character, especially in the jungle, for that first like 3-4 minutes of the game. The biggest problem with Absol, and that's gonna kind of go with some of these other characters we're gonna be talking about here in a little bit, is he's very, very volatile. If you do not get ahead, you become almost useless. So, yeah, that's the thing with Absol. It's always been the thing with Absol, is if you can get ahead and you can stay ahead, you are going to run the show. But if you can't, basically the best you can do is maybe throw out your Unite move to try to steal the Zapdos, or get a lucky pick on somebody and then die. I mean, yeah, that's the thing with Absol. But if you can get ahead, you can stay ahead. This character is absolutely insane, and be sure just go watch Chris Heroes play this character. He makes the character look S tier. But yeah, the slow smoke meta also hurts him, but it also hurts another character, which we're gonna be talking about, and that's gonna be Talonflame. So I've always been a huge proponent for Talonflame being a very solid solo queue Pokemon, and while I do think that is still the case, I think that he's gotten hit kind of hard. The Brave Bird Aerial Ace build buff is pretty nice for him. I don't think it does too much for the character, but I think that Fly is still very, very powerful on the character, because it is still very strong. The rework it got to, if you hit somebody with it, you get like different, a shorter cooldown. That's pretty cool. I think that's a very balanced nerf for it. Yeah, so, but the slow smoke meta that's popped up has been pretty hurtful for him, because once he gets in, it's a lot harder for him to get out, and especially if you're running the Aerial Ace build. I still think Fly is probably better. I still think Fly Aerial Ace is still probably better. They nerfed the damage. I think that it's still like a very good objective steal, though. It's just you have to, be a little bit more on point with him. But yeah, yeah, I think he's better than Absol, but I don't know. I think he's that objective secure and objective steal from an unstoppable Talonflame cannot be discredited in a solo queue environment. Something that I can discredit, though, is unfortunately Gengar. Yes, the changes that they made to him are very cool. I do really like Hex being put on level 5. I think that's very cool because, lets him, pair it with Will-O-Wisp early, and that's awesome. I honestly actually don't really like Shadow Ball being moved to level 7. I actually really liked Shadow Ball for my first game when I'm playing Gengar, because it gives you like a nice like long range poke and stuff like that, and Haunter really isn't that strong, so I feel like Dream Eater being on level 5 doesn't really do much for him, because like I get what they're going for. It's like you try to get the resets and stuff like that, but it just doesn't really work out. Like, I think I like what they're doing with him. It's just the character is fundamentally flawed, and I'll be honest, I have no idea how to fix this character. So, unfortunately, Gengar, you're very solidly in the bottom here, and I don't think you're going to be going anywhere anytime soon. I'm sorry, that's just facts. Next up, we have Zeraora, and my god, what the hell do I even do with this character? Is he bugged? Is he not bugged? Why is he freaking one-shotting me this game, but then in the next game he isn't? I have no freaking idea what the hell is even going on with this character. Yeah, the fact that he's the only character in the game that still gets his Unite move at level 10, it hurts. It hurts him. It genuinely hurts him. I think that he actually probably lands here. Like, if you get that game where it seems like you're one-shotting people, then he's obviously insane. But he gets his ability so late. You want to put him in the jungle, but he doesn't get anything out of the jungle. I guess it gives you Wild Charge for free at the first shred, but you'd rather have somebody else in the jungle. And yeah, I don't know. Zeraora's in this really weird spot, and I want to see them just bring him down with everybody else. His Unite move isn't insanely overpowered right now. It doesn't do that much damage to warrant to be level 10, and if they can figure out what the hell's going on with Wild Charge and Spark or whatever the bug's there, bringing him down to the 5-7-9 level and just evening the playing field is perfectly fine. I don't know. I don't know what to do with Zeraora. I think he's better than Absol. He's not as volatile, and he's a lot more useful in that late game fight, in my opinion, because you can just blow up an enemy team with your Unite move. But yeah, it's so weird to talk about Zeraora. But yeah, that's our speedsters. We still only have 4. Yeah, but yeah, so, right, next up we're going to be going into tanks, and we are going to be talking about our big, heavy CC boys, and we're going to be starting off with my boy Slowbro. So, I've said in the past, I think Slowbro is very team-reliant. You need to have a good team, you need to have somebody that knows what they're doing. I think that's actually a little bit less now, because your sustain and everything got completely reworked, and you can just stick around in a fight forever. You obviously still have to be a little bit team reliant, but you can usually pick out one person on your team that knows what they're doing, and you can stick with them, you can peel for them, you can set kills up for them and stuff like that. So I think I will actually end up putting my boy Slowbro right about here, and I think that that's very cool. Like I said, I'll say every time, Slowbro does something that nobody else can do, and that's just Unite moving somebody and just getting them out of the fight. and just being like, no. So, and especially when we have insanely good characters that got, buffed up, that Unite move is a premium, a little bit more of a premium now. So, next up we got Mamoswine, and yeah, the thing is with Mamoswine is like he's not bad. He's actually pretty good. His early laning phase is actually pretty strong, but I think that he's just like other tanks just do his job better. And the thing with Mamoswine is his Unite move is kind of trash. So I think I'm going to end up probably putting Mamoswine somewhere around here. Obviously, it's really hard to, compare a tank to like these attackers and stuff like that, but I still think that Mamoswine brings a lot of good to the table. Being able to push people around and zone people out efficiently with like Icicle Crash and high horsepower is really strong. I think they still need to rework like Earthquake a little bit more. Like it's kind of useless now. I'm glad that they reworked high horsepower. That's awesome, and I still think Ice Fang is really cool, but literally, it's just they got to give him something for that Unite move. Like, it just doesn't do any damage. You get one big knock up in the end, it's just whatever, sure, but it just, his Unite move is so low impact that there's really no reason to play this character when you have other options. And we're going to talk about one of those right now, and that's my boy Snorlax. So I love me some Big Lax, and we're going to be putting him right next to his buddy Slowbro. These two are probably pretty interchangeable. Personally, I think I like Slowbro a little bit more, but just because his Unite move is very, very powerful, whereas Snorlax is mostly just about keeping him in the fight a little bit longer. But you can't really, hate on Snorlax, man. Like, the block heavy slam is still insane, incredible CC, very similar to Slowbro. You can pick out one of your teammates that seems like they know what the hell they're doing, and you can help peel for them, set up KOs for them and stuff like that. So I think that Snorlax is still one of the best solo queue defenders for sure. Just don't be going that flail nonsense on me. I don't think it doesn't help me at all. It doesn't help me do anything. When I'm going up into your lane and I'm seeing a flail Snorlax, I'm not going to be helping you anymore. So I want that big slam. I want that big booty slam. So alright, so last but not least, for these kind of like heavy displacement defender kind of things, we got my boy Blastoise. And where do I think Blastoise is going to land? I think it's actually going to land somewhere around here. So he doesn't, the thing with Blastoise is, he has to get up to the Blastoise. Blastoise himself is incredible, and I do think Blastoise lands about here. But Squirtle, it's pretty weak. Your laning phase is not the best. You don't have like the best secure. Wartortle is okay, obviously, especially when you get like your Surf and stuff like that online. You can actually start doing your job and stuff like that. But before you get to Blastoise, he's just not that good. But when you get to Blastoise, you are a displacement monster. Your Unite move is still insane. Yes, the damage got cut a little bit, but it does a mountain of damage. Has a good, it can be a good objective secure as well. Yeah, that's the thing. I still think Blastoise lands about right here, and he's basically just a better Mamoswine. He has the huge displacement. Like, Mamoswine has high horsepower, Blastoise has Surf and Hydro Pump. It's just Blastoise has a much better Unite move, so there's that. Alright, next up we got my boy Crustal. I like Crustal a lot. He's super fun, but I am so sorry. You gotta land right here. So, the thing is, there's no reason to play Crustal. He doesn't really do anything special. Like, sure, he can go for like the Buddy Barrier Score Shield shenanigans. You can get 50 points in for free, but like, if you're wanting to be playing like a weird back cap game all game, you're gonna be playing the stupid Fat Squirrel. So yeah. We kind of got to talk about these characters because they just kind of serve the same niche right now. The thing is, though, Greedent is a better character than Crustal at doing Crustal things. Like, you are very annoying, you're running around the map constantly, and I think Greedent probably still doesn't even, do that great. I think he probably ended up landing somewhere around here. But the thing is, there's no reason to play Crustal when you can just play Greedent, Like, you have insane amounts of sustain on this character. The point of Crustal was you get your sustain from scoring, but now they nerf scoring, so he's just not special. The thing is, he doesn't do much. If you want, if you're running X-Scissor, for displacement and pushing people around and stuff like that, why aren't you just running Mamoswine, or even better yet, Blastoise or Snorlax? I hate it for him. I hate it. And they even took away his niche with throwing out his stealth rocks and stuff like that on objectives and stuff. But I don't know. That's the thing with Crustal, is do you want to be this weird backcapping, split pushing character? No, just play Greedent. He's better at it, and we can jungle invade and do crazy dumb stuff because Greedent. I suppose we can also talk about Greedent in the same breath here. Is he's very annoying, and that's the strength of the character. Is he drags people's attention away from everybody else, and that's the strength of the character. The thing is, though, that's not really that strong of a niche. He doesn't have that high of an impact in those big team fights. His damage got brought down significantly, so he's not as scary. But he's still a decent Pokemon. It's just, I feel like if I'm wanting to play a defender, I want to play an actual tank that can impact the game, not just be annoying. Although it is really, really fun. So there is that, at least. Alright, the last defender on the list, and the newest defender on the list, is our boy, the Tree. And where am I gonna put the Tree? Where am I putting the Tree? Everybody says the Tree is bad. Is the Tree really that bad? Yeah, he's kind of bad. So, it kind of runs into a Crustal problem. I do think he's better than Crustal, so I'll probably put him right about here. Kind of runs into the Crustal problem. Is why would I play Trevenant when I can just play a Mamoswine, Blastoise, Snorlax, Slowbro? These characters are pushing people around and stuff like that. You just do your job. Somebody does your job better, and that's just the thing with the Tree. I think that he's a fun character. I think he's really cool. I really like Curse. It's awesome. His sustain is incredible, but the thing is, I actually think Slowbro's sustain is even better. So why? The thing is, Trevenant just doesn't have really that high of an impact, just somebody will always do his job better. So that's just super unfortunate for Trevenant. I think that he's fun. It's just, also him costing 10,000 coins. What was up with that? I don't know, but so there's all the defenders, and now we're going to talk about some tanks that are, not really supporters, like my boy Mr. Mime here. So where's Mr. Mime going to end up landing? Well, there's been a few things that I've been coming up with, talking about in this solo queue situation, is that self-efficiency, sustainability, and objective secure. Mr. Mime, he has all three, so he's going to be ended up landing here. We're going to put him right in the middle of these guys. These three, they're all pretty interchangeable, so we're going to put him right in the middle of his bros right here. Mr. Mime, really good character, especially in that early laning phase. He does a ton of damage, with his confusion. You can set up the walls to trap people, and then, he has, an okay little objective secure with confusion. It's not the strongest execute in the game, but it can definitely steal objectives and secure them for your team, which is really, really nice. His Unite move is incredible, dude. I slept on Mr. Mime's Unite move a lot, but, once I started, actually recognizing the strengths of it and stuff like that, it's I think that's really cool. So it doesn't do amount of damage, but, it sets up you know, your team to, you know, just just bum rush the enemy, and there's nothing they can do about it because they can't use their abilities to run away because, you know, you're just doing this really weird dance on them the entire time, and that's just really cool. So I really like Mr. Mime for a solo queue. I think he's definitely up here with the Snorlax Slowbro gang. Yeah, like I said, these three are pretty interchangeable, but very, very strong. So, and the last like tank character that we're gonna be talking about, it's freaking Wigglytuff. Oh my god, I hate this character so much. So yeah, I think we're probably gonna end up putting Wigglytuff definitely up here in this top tier. She is certainly a king or queen. Probably somewhere about here. I think that this is by far the best tank in the game right now. She's very, very powerful. And incredibly annoying. So Cute Charm tilts me to no end. Slow Smoke was a huge buff for her. Like, she never really needed anything. She didn't need a button. She didn't really need full heal. So like, Slow Smoke is like a perfect item for this character. She just she chews hits for days for no reason. You know, her Unite move is incredible. It's basically a free team fight win. And yeah, it's just incredible. Yeah, she's gotten nerfed multiple times, but still the best tank in the game. Absolutely insane character. I hate Wigglytuff so much, but I have to respect her. Alright, so another character, unfortunately, I don't really have to respect that much, is Blissey. Yeah, we're into like the actual supports right now, and yeah, wow, Blissey is a very good character. Do not get me wrong, do not think I'm sleeping on the strength of Blissey. The problem is Blissey is so team reliant. I think I have to just put her here into this I suppose category. If you can get a good team, Blissey will do amazing. The thing is, this is solo queue. You have no idea what you're getting into. You have no idea what your team is going to be after. You have no idea if your team even knows what Blissey's moves do. You can give them an egg, and then you can just watch them walk away. And that is just the most painful thing that you can do in this game. It is so... I can't tell you how many times I've given a Cinderace the egg while they were like around like a quarter health, and then they just run away, and I'm just like, oh, it sucks. But yeah, that's the thing with Blissey. Incredibly good character, very, very strong, and can, you know, support a good teammate, but just don't really play it in solo queue. I don't think I can disrespect her enough to put her down into the just don't. I will probably put her here to the bottom of the I suppose, though. Maybe I do put her on the just don't. I'll think about it. Alright. Another character, though, on the complete end of the spectrum is LDGoss. And do I think LDGoss kind of suffers the same issues that Blissey does? A little bit, yes, if you're going for like a full team support thing. The thing is, though, LDGoss doesn't have to support the team all the time. She can do her own thing. She can run a muscle band. She's very self-sustaining. She can secure objectives with Leaf Tornado or a Unite move. There is a reason that you see an LDGoss in every single competitive team in the game. Yeah, she's that good. This character is insane. I think I actually probably will end up putting her above Pikachu. I think that if you want to play a supportive role in this game, in a solo queue environment, you can do no better than LDGoss. This character is kind of insane. She's the LD god for a reason. Yeah, so if you want to win some games, if you want to still, you know, have a little bit of an impact while playing a more passive character, definitely go with some LDGoss. So, alright, so next up, we're going to be going into our all-arounders. That was all of our supports and tanks and all that fun stuff. We got my boy Charizard. And Charizard, yes, that's right, we're putting him right up here. Why not? Just put him right next to Cinderace. Sure, why not? So yeah, Charizard is so damn fun. Like, I love the changes that they've made to him, because they've just made him so fluid, and he was already a pretty decent character. The thing is, like, Charizard, he always felt like really clunky, you know, like you have these weird awkward pauses, so you can't really like chase people very well, but being able to throw out your Fire Blast and throw out your Flamethrower and just move constantly, you constantly be moving and stuff like that, it's just so good. It feels so good. And then your Unite move is still one of the highest impact Unite moves in the entire game. Yeah, he can't really lane that well. You really want to put him in the jungle, but nothing beats going into a Zapdos fight, popping your Unite move, melting a freaking backline like Cinderace or a Pikachu or something like that, and then just turning around and just melting your freaking buddy barriers and stuff that the tanks popped. So, but yeah, I love Charizard. I think that he's a very, very good character right now. But the thing is, I don't even think he's overpowered. I think that he is just that good. I don't think he's just incredibly balanced. Very similar to like Pikachu. He's very, very good. Exactly what I wanted from this character. So, alright, next up we have my boy, the Chompy. We're talking about more buffed characters right now. And where do I think Chompy's landing? I think that he's gonna lie and land about here. So, I don't think he's as good as Talonflame. However, the changes that he got are impressive. Yes, yeah, Dig getting that big change, the huge knockup, Earthquake getting a bigger slow, Dragon Rush becoming unstoppable. That is just super good. Amazing quality of life changes to this character, and I think that's exactly what he needed. Do I think that he is going to be, super top tier or anything like that? No. I do think that he still struggles a little bit. It's kind of easy to kite him, and it's kind of easy to, walk away from him sometimes. But if you jump somebody, you're probably sticking to them, and you're probably killing them, And I really like that. I love what they've done to my boy Chompy, and I'm very, very happy. Now, I'm also going to be talking about Machamp in kind of the same vein. He got very similar changes, his dynamic punch, the speed buff that he got is very, very awesome. However, I will actually want to give some credit to his early laning phase. I think that the buff to his karate chop is really awesome, and I'm actually going to be ending up putting Machamp very, very high up here. I think that he's actually a very solid Pokemon right now. He's incredible in jungle. It's very, very good. He has incredible mobility with Dynamic Punch plus Cross Chop, which is very, very cool. And I think that he's actually decent in lane. I would actually probably play Machamp lane over Gardevoir lane, just because now he can actually secure his farm a little bit more. No joke, the buff to Karate Chop is actually pretty impressive. So yeah, I think that's Machamp, very, very powerful Pokemon, and I'm just very happy to see these buffs to these all-arounders, because in all my previous tier lists, they've always kind of landed in this very middle of the road category, but I think they finally found a good place for these characters. They're not insanely overpowered, but they are doing their jobs well, and I'm very, very happy with that. So yeah, Garchomp, Machamp, Charizard, all three of these characters, incredible freaking changes to bring them up to snuff with everybody else. So, however, oh, how the mighty have fallen. The definitive best character in the game in the last patch, not even close. You had to have a Dragonite on your team to even compete, and now he has fallen. But how far has he fallen? I think somewhere around here. Yes, the nerfs that he got are pretty impactful. However, he's still a very good character. It's just he's not broken. I think a lot of people have, you know, overplayed the nerfs that he's gotten, and I do not think that he's that bad of a character, though. That's the thing. Like, I think that they're justified nerfs. He still has his scoring niche. He can still you know, jump and score. Like, you just can't spam it constantly, and that's cool. His hyper beam is still a good secure. Outrage can kind of be played with now. I still don't think it's that good, but you know, it's good. It's just his niche isn't as overpowered as it once was, but it's still a good niche to have, and I still think that Dragonite is a very, very powerful character in this game. It's just he's not overpowered and doesn't need to be on any team anymore. Alright, so yeah. Also, in the same vein, we have Serena. Serena did get hit a little bit hard by that nerf stick. But how hard? I think probably about this hard. Yes, I think that Garchomp is probably a little bit better than her now. The thing is, like, her late game got hit pretty hard because of the healing nerfs that she got. She's still a very good character. It's just she kind of dominates the mid game. You know, once she hits level 6, and you know, once she gets her grassy glide, gets her triple axle, she can still do a lot of damage. She gets, because like level 6 Serena is still very powerful. Like, you put up a level 6 Serena against like a level 6 Pikachu, Serena's going to win that every single time, you know? But you put up like a level 13 Serena against like a level 13 Pikachu. Pikachu's gonna have Unite move like every single time that they fight, and like he can probably beat her because, you know, he can get the stuns off and he can, you know, counteract the damage that she's doing because she just doesn't have a lot of healing anymore. And yeah, that's the thing. I still think she's a very good character. She's very strong, but the nerfs that she got are really, really hindering her, and I think that she's probably worse than Garchomp now, just because Garchomp, his late game is kind of insane. So, as long as, you know, you're doing well with them. Alright, so, last but not least, we have the demon himself, Lucario. Yes, if you asked me a week ago, this is the definitive best character in the game. However, I still think he's still very, very high up here. So we're just going to put him right here because we're going to have a little bit of discussion in a little bit. So, all right. So, close combat got a huge buff. Actually making it viable now. All the changes that they made to it, you know, over the past, giving it more damage and stuff like that. Now you can actually use these changes because it got the exact buff that it needed, making you unstoppable so you can't be hit out of it. You can actually get your damage off, which is insane. Also, Slow Smoke getting an upgrade was huge for this Pokemon because now you can actually guarantee your hits pretty much, which is just insanity. Like, yeah, Bone Rush is still very good, don't get me wrong, the mobility that you get from it, but the fact that you can actually land your damage now with close combat is the big game changer, and that's why you're seeing a lot more close combat now. So, but yeah, so Lucario justifiably nerfed, however, is still in this contention for like the best solo queue Pokemon in my opinion. Now, who are we going to be picking as our one above all? Is it going to be the beast himself, Lucario, because he can sustain himself, he can secure objectives with that power-up punch in that close combat? Is it going to be Charizard, who can just destroy the backline? Is it going to be Cinderace, who can just melt anybody in his path and has an insane Unite move that can steal anything? Venusaur can run into those 1v3s and just win them easily. I think it's gonna be Charizard. That's right, he gets the honor of the best solo queue character in my opinion. Yes, he doesn't have objective secure, I get that, but he does his job so well. He lays down a mountain of damage. He gets his Unite move every single fight, and he will guarantee a kill in that Unite with that Unite move basically every single time. So if you are chasing down the back line, that leaves your entire team to dive on the tanks and the stuff because you are dealing with the squishies, and that is just very, very fun. So yes, I think that Charizard, in my opinion, is the single best solo queue Pokemon in the game right now, and he deserves the honor of being the one above all. So yeah, but that is pretty much it. This is my tier list. This is again a solo queue tier list. I think that this is about where everybody stacks up in the game. I am actually feeling pretty good about the way the game is going right now. I think we're very balanced. We don't have like an overpowered Pokemon that just warps the meta entirely, which is really, really cool. We have options. Every single role can be filled by other characters. If you want to play a lane attacker, you can play a Pikachu, you can play a Venusaur, you can even dip down and play like a Sylveon or a Ninetales. Like, they're still not that bad. You want to play a jungler, throw in some Charizard, throw in some Cinderace, Greninja, and stuff like that. You want to play a tank, look at all these guys right here. Excellent. Yeah, the healer role is taken by LDGoss, but, you know, there's not really a whole lot we can do about that. Yeah, so, you want that, you know, bulky bruiser all-arounder role. You got Lucario, you got your Machamp, you got your freaking Garchomp and Serena. Yeah, I do think we still have some weaker Pokemon. You know, this bottom 6 right here, they're not, well, okay, Blissey doesn't really count. So, this bottom 5 right here, they definitely need some help. But other than that, I think that we're in a very balanced position going into Season 2. I'm not expecting a whole lot of changes, as we did see the last season rollover. We didn't get like a big patch or anything until much later. But, you know, for the most part, I'm feeling pretty good about the game. I'm thinking there's a lot of variety and a lot of skill expression to be had, and I'm having a lot of fun playing it. So, anyway, though, let me know down in the comments, what do you think about this tier list? Let me see your tier list potentially as well. So, but that's going to be it for me today. I know it was a long one. I'm just talking about the game that I love. So, but that's going to be it. Like, comment, sub, all that fun stuff. I love you all. Deuces.